Welcome to the Make Your Mark podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Mark Moyer, author of Win Again, speaker, career coach, and business advisor. And I help athletes, executives, and entrepreneurs reach their fullest potential. What you're going to be hearing in every single episode are conversations with athletes and other sports-related influencers. And we'll be offering you the insight that you need to succeed in life, including advice that will let you jump past your competition, whether it be for a great new job or taking your business to a much, much higher level. Make sure to connect with me on social media at Mark Moyer Coach and go to my website, markmoyer.com, to get access to the tips and strategies that my coaching clients get directly. If you're looking for ways to make your mark, send me an email to mark@markmoyer.com and I'll get you going right away. Thanks for joining me today. It's going to be an awesome episode. Now, are you ready to make your mark? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the Make Your Mark podcast. My name is Mark Moyer and I'm broadcasting to you live from New York City. And I'm thrilled to have you from wherever you're listening, whether it's here in the United States or if you're stationed overseas as part of our military. I really appreciate your service and thanks for listening. Today, I had the pleasure of speaking with Chelsea Mandello. And Chelsea's an amazing woman. She's spent 7 years in the Navy and she's transitioned out and she's got her own company called Troopster. And what Troopster is doing is making it much easier for you to get mail to your loved ones stationed overseas. And really is an amazing increase in morale. What she's doing is such an amazing service, and wait till you hear all about it. We cover lots of ground. We talk about, some business advice, some career stuff. Certainly, we've got some funny stories. It's a great episode. You're gonna love it. But before we jump in, make sure to review this on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you're listening. And go to my website, markmoyer.com, for access to previous episodes and lots of other great content. And lastly, send me an email to mark@markmoyer.com. I'd love to hear from you and especially your feedback. So let's jump in. Chelsea Mandello, you're going to love this episode. Happy listening. All right, welcome to the Make Your Mark podcast. My name is Mark Moyer. I am the host of this amazing podcast, and I'm saying it's amazing because it's mine, I guess, but I can also tell you it's amazing because today I've got Chelsea Mandello on with me. Take a look at her. She's amazing. She's got so much to talk about today. I'm fired up to have her. And here we go. Say hi, Chelsea.
All right. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Speaking of happy to be here, where is here right now?
So I am in Orlando, Florida. I'm actually at the military conference, the Military Influencer Conference in Orlando, Florida. So I'm staying at this amazing resort, and this is my first time at a resort. So it's really awesome. Great experience. I know.
What? First time at a resort?
I know. Yeah. As an adult.
Wait a minute. You're identifying yourself as an adult. That's, I don't know about that. But anyway, well, look, what I want to jump into, Chelsea, is that we've, you and I have been chatting and, we've chatted before. And I love what you're doing, especially with your new, your entity, Troopster. It's really incredible what it's doing and going to be doing even more so down the road in terms of really changing, our troops, I don't even know, not lives maybe, but it's just how they look at things and their moods and everything. It's just so important. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we jump into that, tell me a little bit about, when you joined the service and what compelled you to join, and what was that transition like when you first went in?
Yeah, so I joined the military right after college. Actually, it was the same month that I graduated from Ball State.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was so excited. I was really just, I was sick of school. By the time you graduate, you're ready to jump into a profession. And I wanted to go see the world. I was a military family, and I had heard that the Navy had the best realm for creativity. Which is true. So the
best what for creativity?
For creativity. The best field. So the Navy actually has graphic designers and web designers.
Okay.
Right, which a lot of people don't realize that you can go into the military and do something, along that realm. So I went to the recruiters. I told them this is exactly what I want. If you don't give it to me, I'm not going to join. and they were pushovers. So they
Wow, sweet.
Yeah. Yep. They really, I guess I was very intimidating when I went there and said that.
I can tell. I can tell.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, whenever you like flip into the combat boot mode and you're just really tough, I was there. I was ready.
I could see.
But yeah, so I went straight in as a photojournalist for Navy Public Affairs, and I really, really got to see the world. It was a bit of a culture shock.
Time out for a second.
Okay.
You said you went in as a photojournalist, but does that mean you had were you already a photographer going in, or not really, or what happened?
I was not. No. So my degree was in advertising.
All right.
Yeah. And being a photojournalist was the closest realm because advertising falls under journalism. It was part of the journalism field. So I had taken a lot of journalism courses already.
Okay.
And I'm not shy at all. So I had no problems just attacking people with questions or trying to find a story. I have no comfort level, with that.
Got
Anything goes.
All right, cool.
Right.
So you join in and you get sort of, I don't know, were you assigned to the photojournalist thing or you asked for that?
I asked for it.
Great. Cool. And so where did that take you? Tell me about some of the experiences you had with that.
Yeah. So right as I got in, they trained me and shipped me out. I went first over to Japan. So I've been to 13 countries and 9 different ships. And I was sent straight over to Japan.
Right.
Where I just bounced around that area. I was in Yokosuka and Sasebo. I went up to Mount Fiji. Fuji. Yeah. And
Did you have a chance to learn the language at all, or did they teach that, or not really, or what?
They didn't really teach it, but when you're out there walking the streets, you really learn a lot. So you learn how to say hello and good morning and thank you.
Right.
The basics. And I had a translator that said, I'm a stupid American. Can you help me get Wi-Fi? So.
And they said, oh, we can see how you're, wait, are there any smart Americans? Yeah, sure.
They were always, I remember I pretty much had that on an iPad. And I remember walking up to a lady in the airport and she read the screen and she just laughed. She started just laughing and she connected me to Wi-Fi, and I guess it was a paid Wi-Fi, and she went ahead and just paid it because it was so funny.
Right. Oh my God.
So it worked out.
So you're in that area, and then so how long were you in Southeast Asia, that area?
I was there for about 6 months. They bounced me around. I went to Malaysia. I went actually to an amazing children's hospital in Malaysia. So I got to work with some children there, and then I bounced over to Hong Kong. I spent Halloween in Hong Kong, which was awesome. It's such a great city.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I went over to Thailand. I just really got to see the versatility of the military. I would do a lot of community relations product. And I was always on the move. I slept in quite a few airports. I always had my sea bag on me along with a lot of camera gear. So it was just overall a really awesome experience.
In terms of those experiences, I mean, how long were you in overall?
Overall, I was in 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you probably saw a couple of things that were pretty interesting, I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe.
A lot of things. Here's actually kind of a fun story. So I would go out in the field with different units. I would go out with Marines. We would do ship to shore movements. So it would be 2 a.m. and we would get into these rib boats and we would go to shore, and then we would hike through the jungle and camp. And Marines have just a completely different mentality. They're very in the moment, but they really connect as a family. And we were in a location that had a lot of wild boars and pigs. And so these Marines decided, we're going to go catch a pig and have a luau.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I'm the only photographer there, and they say, you should come along and take photos.
Great.
I did not do that.
You did? Oh, man.
No, but I did watch them wrestle this ginormous pig. And this thing was huge. And so they had fun wrestling it and did the whole luau thing. And I just ate my MRE.
Oh, did you really? Oh, you're not a wild boar fan, huh?
You know what? We had taken so many different shots and pills to make sure, we weren't going to get sick. I felt it was opening up a whole can of worms for things.
I guess that's a good point. I love, there's almost nothing better than a luau pig, but I guess if you're not sure what that pig's been eating, I guess probably safe.
Right. I mean,
the Hawaiian pig is probably better than the Malaysian pig or wherever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. Now, so you were in the service for a lot of time, a fair amount of time, and I'm assuming you saw some also maybe not so fun things, and you took lots of pictures and so forth. But what? So you got out, or what was it that? Was there a moment that you said, it's been 7 years, it's time? Was there a moment where you said, wait a minute, I can extend longer, I don't want to do it? What was the thought process at that point?
Yeah, so I launched Troopster while I was still active duty.
Okay.
I launched Troopster in 2015. And at first, so I was still doing my obligation with the military. I was standing, 24-hour watches, and then I'd go home. I was exhausted, and I would pack these boxes. And it just, as Troopster grew, it really became difficult to manage both. I was being pulled in so many directions. I was losing a lot of sleep, and I saw the impact that Troopster was having on so many of our deployed service members that when the time came for me to re-enlist, I made the decision that I want to just do it, follow through with Troopster the whole way. And so I went on ahead and separated from the military, and I just got out this past May, and now I'm here. I'm in it.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
So, give me the, maybe the shorter version, but tell me a little bit about Troopster and what it does and its mission, and how you're hoping to really make it, obviously have a tremendous impact. I mean, that's what, again, what I try to do with my podcast, Make Your Mark, is really focus on people that are making such a positive impact. And look, this is definitely, Chelsea, this is great what you're doing. Tell everyone more about Troopster itself and what its mission is.
Sure. So this is we're going into the fourth year, and I've sent over 5,000 care packages to troops who are deployed around the world. And the mission of Troopster is to increase the morale of troops who are deployed overseas. There are thousands of troops who are deployed at any one time. And of those thousands, there's about 3 million family members who have somebody who's in the military.
Right.
And so Troopster, I really compare it to Amazon. It's kind of the Amazon of care packages, where friends and family members, rather than having to deal with the hassle of running around, making a care package, they can use Troopster to send a personalized care package directly to their troops deployed overseas. They can set up subscription boxes. They can personalize it with photos, letters, magazines. But on the same coin, we also have the ability for those who don't really have someone in the service to adopt a troop and to send a care package to somebody who doesn't have a family member who's deployed overseas and who could really use a care pack.
Oh, that's amazing. So, for example, I've got a son or daughter stationed in Germany or in South Korea or wherever, or in battle zone in Afghanistan. And I guess up until Troopster, what I'd be doing is going to the post office and trying to put together a package and tape it up like crazy and just kind of hope that it makes it to wherever it's supposed to go and intact and so forth, right? And it might or it might not, or it gets what can happen sometimes to packages that I try to send.
Yeah. So first of all, just filling out the customs forms is really a pain. Anyone who has been through that process, it's not fun. There's a form for if it's under 4 pounds, if it's over 4 pounds, the dimensions. If you fill it out wrong and you've waited in this long line at the post office, they send you back to try and fill out again. So that's one of those pain points that I'm glad that we really helped circumvent.
Right.
Yeah. But so if you go through that, you're going to face really expensive shipping costs. If you're sending to Japan, it might cost you $70, just to get it
to
there.
send what, like a box this big or whatever, like a shoe box?
Oh yeah. Yep. Pretty much. And
that's crazy.
So expensive. Yeah. Just to get it overseas to somebody. So that's something that people really automatically avoid. They don't want to do it because it's so expensive. But let's say you go on ahead and do that. It can take anywhere from 3 months to 7 months just to get a package over.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Depending on where you were. So I would do anti-piracy operations in the Mediterranean. And because of the area that we were in, it was very dangerous for us to get mail because we would have to coordinate in secret our location and the location of the carrier that would meet us in the ocean. And we had to do all of this, very carefully because there's still a real threat out there.
Right.
Right. So
now the Somalian pirates probably didn't have much use for your care packages, but you tried to maybe not necessarily run into them while getting delivered from the, however it was delivered to you.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of fun. You meet alongside the ship and you shoot a line. I mean, we've got this giant gun that shoots a line over to the other ship.
Right.
And then we carry it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We then send connectors across it so that we can connect these two ships as they're going.
Oh, I see.
And we have to keep our speed the same.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll do this even in a storm. So you have to be really careful because sometimes the ships will rock and you have to be very careful because there have been times where they crash into each other.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
But, Oh, yeah. It's horrible. I mean, these things are massive. But we'll have these two ships. And once we've sent those cables across, we will just send these giant pallets across between the two ships. So just pallets of mail and food and things that we need, along with gas lines. They will refuel us at sea.
Got it. I see.
So there's a lot going on, which is why we don't want anything, possibly risky coming in while that's happening.
Did you ever take pictures of that process?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, cool.
In fact, if anyone Googles my name, you can see lots of photos that I took while I was still active. Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely have to do that. So, so you get all this stuff, but then what could happen once you get it?
Mm-hmm. The boxes could be entirely smashed, or we don't really receive the items very well at all. So I've seen people send apple strudels. I've seen people send pies, and in my case, my mom sent me a lot of baked goods and chocolates. And so I would open it up.
It could take 3 months.
Oh my gosh, no, Pete. In the world of Amazon's 2-day shipping, people just don't consider that, that it's going to take such a long time.
So wait a minute, let me see what happens. So here's how it happened, Chelsea, right? I'm guessing you get a box and then you say, hey, you come over here, you open this thing. I don't want to open it, be like, oh.
Actually, so what we'll do is we'll open it up and, things will be really bad. And then we'll all kind of assess, well, maybe you could still eat that. This corner looks fine. I think maybe that'll be fine. And we have those guinea pigs. My husband, he's the guinea pig. He would be one of the guinea pigs for our shop.
That's great. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. He'll just, that's
do you smell test first, and then the kind of, got it.
I would smell it and throw it away. He no sense of smell, but probably no taste buds either. That's probably why it doesn't bother him.
Well, he's a guy, I'm a guy. It's the same, but we don't smell anything. We don't, we're clueless. So, all right. So anyway, so you get these packages later. Mom sends something, it goes really bad, whatever it is. So one day you wake up and you go like, bing, and what happens? Yeah,
it was during my seventh ship, and that's exactly what happened. It was during sequestration. So I'm sure everyone knows what sequestration is, but for those who don't, money and funding was cut. So because of that, our deployments, which would normally be 6 and 7 months, ended up being extended out to 11, 12, 13 months.
Wow.
And we were expected to do the same missions, but with less money. So we were doing it with less tools, less necessary items that we needed.
Right.
So, right. So we weren't hitting port as often. We were staying at sea, and morale really got very low during that time. And so by the time we got something like a care package, it made everyone feel so good. But I remember opening up that box and everything was bad. So it was like I couldn't catch a break. And I wasn't the only one who felt that. I mean, there were so many of us who were just throwing away boxes. And I remember going to the trash room, and it was filled with care packages that was just full of items that none of us could eat or use.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it was so sad. And it just made morale worse. So I remember thinking there has to be a website that just does all of this, that'll help my mom. Has to be. And I went online and there was nothing available. And I was so upset. Like, I was so angry. And that's when the best things happen for me, is whenever I'm really angry that I do something about it.
All right.
Oh yeah. So like that night, I didn't even go to bed. I didn't go to my rack. I stayed in my office and was drawing out, what would this imaginary company look like? How could I do it? I know web design. How would I design it? And that's how it started.
That's so amazing. So, so right now today, obviously I can go on to Troopster and basically I can say, look, I want to send, I mean, how would I, walk me through how I would do it?
Sure. Yeah. So if let's say you have someone that you know who's overseas, you might send directly to them.
Right.
You go to the site, troopster.org, troopster.com, and you can either pick, we have more than 60 pre-made care packages.
Okay.
They range from like cookies, crackers, and bars to underwear packs to, if you love beef jerky, we've got lots of beef jerky packs. And so you can pick different packs and you can tailor them to whatever that person's individual needs are. So if you really love magazines, you can add a magazine. You can add a movie. Anchorman is one of the more popular movies still to add. so you can add a movie, you can add apparel. And then after you have made it perfect for that person, you just check out like you would any other site. You upload their address, and then we're going to take care of all of the running around, packing and shipping for you.
So how does it compare financially? In other words, am I still paying $70-ish for that box to go to Japan, or what's it cost now?
You're not. So we have a deal worked out with the USPS. First, we do bulk shipping rates. And then also, because we're a nonprofit, they help us out a little bit as well. So a box that could cost $70 there is actually going to cost about $20.
Wow.
Or one of the more popular boxes, we send out cookies, crackers, and bars. That one is about $20 to ship with the post office. And for us, it's $7.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah,
wow.
It saves you so much more money.
Well, or you can just do them more frequently, right? So, I mean, that's the
right. Yes. So, yeah. We also have a subscription service, which automatically knocks 10% off. And you can have those boxes sent out automatically to your troop. You can upload letters, pre-write letters, and upload photos. And we will just get those things out every 4, 6, 8, however many weeks you'd like.
Oh, that's amazing. Because, it's one thing to get it's funny. I'm sort of old enough, I shouldn't say this, but I'm old enough to remember, like I would write letters to friends, and especially young ladies, that I'd run out to the mailbox that day or the next day. Couldn't wait to see if I got an answer. And this is, it's not before phones, so don't make the wise ass remark, but, because I know it's coming. But anyway, it was something where literally it would be 3 or 4 weeks. This is especially up at college, where we'd go to our little mailboxes and see if something showed up. And the excitement of anything in there, even if it's just a little smiley face or something, was enough to, you're right, it really lifts your day, and it really changes and increases morale. And so the idea of getting something more frequently, I'm sure is an enormous boost, not just to your family member, but as you said, for those troops that don't necessarily have family supporting them or getting stuff from them. the ability for someone like, let's say for me to adopt sort of, I guess, or I don't know what you call it. I mean, but
you can adopt a troop too if you don't know anyone in the military, but you still really want to support the troop.
Sure.
We have thousands of soldiers who don't have any friends or family members. They don't have anyone taking care of them. So we also are that bridge for the community to take care of troops.
This is really, it's great. And, you know, you're right. It's funny because, not to talk about me for several hours now. No, I'm joking, but not to talk about that. But actually what drew me into coaching retired athletes was the same exact thing, where I was helping a retired athlete with his, you know, trying to find his next step, right? And between talking to him the first time and then getting him his job, it was just a few weeks. And at the end of that time period, he said, "Mark, you've completely transformed everything for me. My family's indebted to you. I'm indebted to you. And you really need to help athletes." And I was like, all right, I've been helping everybody else. I guess I can do that, right? And then the light bulb went off and I was like, well, all right, Amazon.com, let me see how many books are about helping athletes transition. And there was 0. And I was like, are you kidding me? There are no books anywhere written helping athletes make that transition. So I was like, all right, bring it on. And it's the same sort of thing where, you know, not to say, wow, it's amazing to be first to market and that sort of thing, but I mean, look, Chelsea, what you're doing is so essential, and I mean, it really is awesome. Now, if I'm a big shot or a medium shot or even a small shot at a corporation somewhere, and I want to get involved with Troopster, how do I do that?
Yeah, so so we're now looking for corporate sponsors who want to get involved, who want to work with Troopster and be a sponsor of Troopster. Okay. So they can find us through the website. They can contact me directly. And we've got a big sponsorship package where they can have corporate branded boxes. So for instance, if Petco really wants to help out the troops, and we have military working dog units that we send to. So they're that awesome. Might be a great one. Yeah. Great. But we can offer a Petco box. And what that means is we have these branded boxes. We have cookies, crackers, and bars. We have the jerky box. Basically, it would be called the Petco box. Okay. And we can put your Petco products in it. You can add swag to the box. And so in addition to a monetary contribution, you could do in-kind contributions. And then you can market with us. You can work directly with us. And we are more than happy to support our sponsors who are supporting us.
Oh, that's amazing. And, you know, it's sort of a no-brainer. Like all these companies should be jumping up right now and talk. Well, look, we're going to work on that. I'm going to help you with that. Yeah. I love this stuff. This is really, I mean, look, whenever I talk to people that I feel are making a true impact and a true thing, I mean, it compels me to want to reach out to everybody I know and really say, look, this is really for an amazing cause. Because not only are you, you know, contributing and increasing the morale, but it's also, I mean, it's just a good thing to do, right? And it's so well done, Chelsea. Now, I want to take a half a step back because, you know, I know that you're a very competitive person. We talked about that earlier, but where did a lot of that competitive streak come from? I mean, when you were growing up and so on, what was that? You know, tell me all about all that.
You know, it's weird. So I have 3 brothers and none of them are competitive in the least. So I'm the only girl.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. None of them are competitive. They're all introverts. You know, they love to read and they play games. And I mean, my oldest brother, he would do like the word-based games back where we had all of the amazing graphics. I don't know if you remember like the MMORPGs where you would just read what was happening. So that's what my older brothers used to do. And so they're completely opposite. And I would always be out running around. I would turn everything into a competition. I mean, if we're going to walk to the school bus, we might as well run and race, and I'm going to beat you. That's why I offered that we should play.
I like it. Well, look, and that just sort of reinforces, I think, how critical it is to, I mean, you don't necessarily need to be a professional athlete or a collegiate athlete or Olympian. Just be athletic. And I think when you're athletic in nature, it just, it translates into business success. I think it really, when you learn the idea of being driven and being competitive and wanting to succeed and wanting to, win, that's what's really going to drive this. And Chelsea, it's, I can envision Troopster being almost like a, like a word, like, Coca-Cola, Kleenex, Amazon, etc., something that's synonymous with mailing something to the troops. And, I'm pretty excited to see that grow. So, I want you to also now maybe give some advice to those people who are listening or watching that are considering starting a company from an idea like you had. What kind of, maybe list a couple of things that you've done that you've been thrilled that you did, some advice that you can give, and maybe one or two things that you tried that didn't really work out, or maybe things that you were thinking of trying that you're glad you didn't do.
Well, first, I think you're right in the comparison with sports and having that mentality, because you really do have to develop a stamina in business. And this is in any business. There are going to be times where you are constantly exhausted, and you have to it's just like a muscle. You have to learn to keep going and to push that and to test those bounds, because it really will make you better in any kind of business that you have. Just working with, don't exhaust yourself, but definitely pushing and continuing to push is one of the best things that has helped me, really. I kind of have another fun story for you.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So recently, every month we have a sponsored packing event where businesses or organizations can sponsor that month's packing party. Okay. And so we'll send out, like 500 care packages, 1,000 care packages, and the community gets involved. And it's a big event. It's called just a Troopster pack party, and it's a lot of fun. It's every month. And a couple of months back, we were having this really big packing event. And every event, I will work in the mornings to set up, where the team's going to go, how is the assembly line going to work, what are we going to do? And then I create this really nice newsletter to hand out to all the volunteers to let them know what's happening next month, what all we did, that kind of stuff. And I'm a Mac household. I have Mac everything, Apple products. And so I've been working all morning on this thing, and it looked amazing. I was so excited. And an hour before the event, I got the spinning wheel of death, and my Mac crashed. And I thought, okay, it's fine. There's this cloud thing. I can just go to the office to my iMac. It's fine. And I get to the office, and for some reason, the iMac had crashed.
At your office too?
Yes, at my office as well. Yeah, fluke, just no reason. First time it had ever done that. And so I thought, oh my God, maybe I can print it from my phone. Same thing. I swear, Mark, who'd you
tick off in
I don't know. Well,
Tim Cook.
Every now and then I curse at Siri because she doesn't understand me, and so I yell at her.
She got back at you.
I'm telling you, I have a belief she listens more, and she's nicer to you if you're nice to her. Like, you really have to placate Siri.
Oh my God! See, I used to tell my kids and stuff, like Santa's listening or God is listening, or whatever. But I never really thought I'd have to mention Siri. But I guess we got to bring Siri into this too.
Yeah, throw her into that mix.
Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
But I was so upset that after the packing event, because we ended up just doing this whole pack party without anything.
Right.
And it turned out fine. I stress about things. But after the event, I went to Apple, and I told them what happened. And I said, this can't happen anymore.
Right.
Don't do it. And the guy basically told me, we can't help you. You have older stuff. You need to purchase a newer.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He told me I needed to purchase a newer one. And I was so upset that I reached out to Microsoft.
There you go. I'll show you, Apple.
Oh my gosh. I wrote this really long thing to Microsoft telling them that I needed a company that stood behind me, that would power the troops, and that would help me. And,
wow.
And then I ended up hearing back from Microsoft.
Strangely enough.
I was so, yeah. And I mean, I wrote this long thing, and they had put me in the winning for it's hashtag Empower Possibilities.
Okay.
And so if anyone Googles Empower Possibilities in Troopster, you will be able to read my long dialogue.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, so, what else, in terms of advice on starting a business and running it,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's right.
You got me on a tangent.
No, I like the story though. Great story.
Yeah. I've got a great one about Santa Claus too. Right. So your eyes just.
I love
it. Gosh, now I want to tell that story too. Yeah. So advice that I have for business owners. A couple of things that I'm really, really happy that I did was seeking mentorship. When I first launched, I did everything by myself. I was, reading up on the Small Business Administration. I was printing off just thousands of documents, and I was reading these things over lunch, and I was doing every little thing by myself. And it wasn't until I was in business and really going that I started to find mentors, people who I really liked, who I really trusted, who had already started a business and been running it, that I realized that mentors have been through the pitfalls that you're already going through. They have already made these mistakes. And so if you find them and can reach out to them, they are always happy to help you. I mean, the business community is filled with entrepreneurs who have been there, and they love to share their experiences and to help you with those events. And if I would have known that starting, I could have bypassed so much heartache.
Yeah.
And money. I ended up getting so many like scam emails and things that I thought were real and paying into them. And if I'd had a mentor who could have said, "Oh, no, don't do that. They're not real," it just would have saved me so much. So that's the biggest thing. That's
amazing advice. And it's true because, it's funny, and I found that also, that once people get a feeling like they're like, oh, this person's got an established business, you start getting calls all the time. I started recognizing pretty quickly because, my sort of prior life in a career, I was an executive recruiter, a headhunter. I was involved in sales and usually some sort of a pitch to an extent that I could recognize these things. But it was always something where they were like, I could show you how to 10 times your profits by blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, well, 10 times what profits? Well, you have a profitable business, don't you? And I say, well, yeah, but what's my business? They'll be like, your business. And they wouldn't even know in advance I just ask a couple of questions. They'd be like, okay, gotta go. But you're right though. It's especially, you're going to find also the bigger Troopster gets, the more the huckster comes out, right? And
right.
It's going to be, but that's a great piece of advice. And especially the part, Chelsea, where you talk about mentors and people that have been through it, because, in my perspective and over my experience, I mean, you can tell it's just by nature, I love to give advice. It's part of what I do for a living. But I think just when you get a little bit maybe older and you've done a few more things, you're flattered that somebody would want to listen to you and you're excited to show them the way. And even now, Chelsea, I mean, you're still obviously, I don't know if it's right to say you're very young, but you're young. I mean, you're younger than me or whatever it is. I guess I'll say that. Jeez, I think everybody is. But anyway, but you've already accomplished so much, and sort of the world is ahead of you. I mean, you've got so much coming to you that I think that anytime you can get, as you said, any sort of mentorship or advice from other people that have been there, just make sure that my biggest advice about that is listen to it, absorb it, but only use what you feel is right. Trust your gut, because your gut is other people haven't walked in your shoes. You have, right? So, right. I can advise you all I want, but I'm just some guy up in New York City that's been through a lot of other stuff, but I haven't been taking pictures of troops, in Manila or wherever it is. And I haven't, I haven't put together Troopster. So absorb what they're saying, but only filter out what you can. I mean, don't listen to everybody, but no, that's great. Now, in terms of the day-to-day running of the business and so forth, I mean, how do you figure out who you should bring in to help you? I mean, how do you bring in the help?
Right. Well, so my first employee was pure luck, and I'm so happy to have found her. My first employee was a college student.
Okay.
And she had worked with some friends of mine who just raved about her. So I got really lucky with her. She was the first person to come in and handle the fulfillment side. She was awesome. Like she would categorize things, and she would contact the wholesalers and find out cheaper rates and better ways for me to do things.
Now, she's still with you?
She is. She's still with me.
Don't say her name because someone else will want to hire her. So
I know.
I'm not going to tell you who she is, but if I can find a way to utilize her criminal psychology degree, packing care packs, I'm going to use her. I'm going to hire her.
All right, good. But what else? What do you look for in somebody if someone that's about to help you? I mean, what's important to you?
So with Jesse, I do an interview first, and I want to know that they are willing to dedicate themselves to Troopster.
Okay.
Because we deal with a lot, I know in my case, we deal with a lot of addresses, military addresses, and these are not things that normally you would pass around. So I look for people who are dedicated to the mission. Yes, they want to be paid, but they really want to be a part of an organization that helps the troops, that they believe in the mission.
So how do you find that out? I mean, because look, I think I advise people on the interview process all the time. And wouldn't they maybe just say, if you say, well, are you dedicated to the mission? Well, yes, of course I am. Wait, am I supposed to say that? I am dedicated to that. Yes.
But then, I try to, I usually try to take them out to lunch, or I try to
weaken them. I like that.
Yeah. Get their guard down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even if they say, yeah, I'm really dedicated to the mission. Well, why? Why are you dedicated to the mission? You know anyone who's in the military? Why is this so important to you?
Right.
Good. Yeah, and usually that's when it'll come out. I'm going to say, oh, well, I just thought that you wanted me to say that. Actually, if anyone ever says that to me, I'll be very impressed. If
they'll actually fess up to it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had anyone be brutally honest. So I might accept that person.
Now, but look, at the end of the day, though, you're right. It's somebody that they're going to be much more successful at what they're doing for you if they do believe in the mission, believe in what you're doing. And whether it's, Troopster or anybody else's company or whatever they're doing, their service, their product, there's got to be a strong belief in it, whether you're selling the product or the service, or you're just simply doing something else totally different on behalf of that. But you're right, believing in the mission. That's great. And do you think that, in terms of where you want to, what are the next steps, do you think, in terms of growing Troopster? I think really it boils down to awareness, right? It's just getting more people, not just the troops, but the companies that can support it. And it's all about the awareness, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Developing the corporate sponsorships and strategic partnerships is one of my biggest goals right now.
Okay.
Because, like I said, we're going the 4th year, and we're to the point now where more families and friends have heard about us. We're sending out far more care packages. Actually, we're already up 200% from last year. Oh, yeah. So
well done.
It's time.
It is time.
It is time.
Now, what are some of the ways you're trying to get? Are there vehicles to get maximum exposure to this? I mean, what do you think are some of the best ways to do that? Yes,
absolutely. So one of the ways and one of the things that I want to get involved with is the recruiting stations. Every time someone raises their hand and they join the military, there is a packet, a folder that is given to the family members and friends.
Okay.
And it tells you all of the resources. And I would love for there to be an actual Troopster brochure in there, just letting the families and friends know that we exist.
Now, will they let you do that, or what's the scoop with that?
There are other organizations that are a part of that. So USDA, which is not affiliated with them, maybe federal. There are others who are involved with them.
Okay.
I just haven't discovered yet about that channel.
Got it. Mm-hmm. We got to get in that. Well, look, there's, this is something we can talk about offline, but there's a few people in the service that I think I can introduce you to that might be able to help with that. I mean, it's, look, what you're doing is such a great thing. It's, I'm impressed on a lot of different levels. Number one is that you've transitioned out of the military and just recently, but into something where you're really making a positive impact. You've got your own company. You're, this is you, man. This is really impressive, Chelsea. Well done. I see that our listeners can't see this, but you're wearing some swag, right? We got the Troopster swag going, the T-shirt. How can anybody get a Troopster T-shirt, or is it just you? Oh
no, anyone can get a Troopster T-shirt. They can order them online, and we will send them over. Shoot, I don't know why it hit me. If this is a podcast, I could have been wearing my pajamas. I could have been so much more comfortable.
No comment on that. I won't even pan down. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so it's like the newscasters, right? That are that they're always top up. They're always snazzy. But anyway, and in terms of so if I'm a person out there who wants to participate with Troopster and to be make an impact with you and your company right now today, what can I do? I can go onto the site, and I can either start putting together a care package for somebody I know in the service, or I can become a sort of an adopt a troop and donate money effectively to send a package to somebody I don't know. Would I ever know who that person is or not necessarily?
If they agree, if the troop agrees to have their information shared,
okay.
Yeah, we can connect you.
Okay, great.
But the problem is a lot of the troops aren't comfortable with that because you never know who's on the other side.
That's a good point. Very good point. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So I'm going to throw it now. We're going to switch gears into what I like to call my Hit Your Mark segment. And it's just going to be a few quick questions that I'm going to throw at you that I think you've already touched on one of them, but I want you to give me, you started to talk about your Santa Claus story. So why don't you jump in, just tell me that real quick.
Okay. All right. So we had this thing in my family where my mom would say that you only get presents from Santa if you believe in Santa. And so we had to always say that we believed in Santa. And one year my little brother said, no, I'm not going to play with that game. I know he's not real. He's fake. And so that year I had like 42 presents and my brother got like 3. and it was amazing.
No.
It was because he didn't believe in Santa.
And I can't decide what's funnier, the fact that you remember it was 42 gifts or, that's great.
It was so many. And I remember his face because he was obviously distraught.
He was probably under the tree looking for ones that had his name tag, right?
He hasn't cared about Christmas since. And now I still love it.
Oh, well, he's got to start believing again.
See? Exactly.
Yeah. Somewhere, it's funny because I live in New York City and, for years it was a little challenging to explain to my son that, we were actually happy he never asked how Santa got in because we don't have a chimney. We're in a big apartment building. So, I guess we could say we'd kind of let him in or left the door unlocked or something, but always, wondered if if he came in through the window or I don't know what. But I think he was kind of thinking the same way you were thinking that, even if I don't think he's real, I'll keep it going because I'll score more gifts that way. So it's pretty effective. And so also give me right now, right off the top of your head, 3 people, alive or dead, you'd love to have a drink with or dinner with.
That drink or dinner with.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you would be my first. You're really funny. I think that I'd like to learn more, learn some more things. I would love to have dinner with Barack Obama, like
Okay.
the Obama family. That would be amazing. And then my grandmother. She was a tough cookie. She was funny, and I was on my first deployment when she passed away. And but she would always she wanted me to be a colonel in the Navy, and I never had the heart to tell her that there aren't colonels in the Navy. but she was just my biggest supporter and my biggest.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now maybe did you ever have KFC? Because that's Colonel Sanders. I think was he a colonel? I'm not sure, but anyway, a real colonel.
Actually, a colonel. Right?
He's just not colonel.
It, though.
That's funny. And so also going forward, I guess how I want to end this though is give me a sense of, again, this is all about, I talk about make your mark, right? And it's, how do you want, maybe 20 years down the road, people to look back and say, wow, look what Chelsea did. Tell me a little bit about that lasting impact you want people to talk about, or the sort of the legacy that you want to leave behind.
Jeff Bezos is one. I am such a fan of Jeff Bezos. He's the founder of Amazon.
Yeah.
He writes. He wrote a letter called Day One, focusing on your Day One mission. Where a lot of times you start a business and you get so caught up in Day Two, in the production and in the tedious tasks of just keeping it running. That you forget about the Day One vision of when you're really excited about it and you want to make that the next step and you want to make it better. And I always consider that when I'm running a business. And so I always think back on how amazing the steps that Jeff Bezos took with Amazon. And I would love it if people could ever think of me in that fashion, because I want to one day have Troopster, not just care packs for the troops, but the whole industry of care packs. I want, if you are thinking of sending a care package to anyone in college, or if you have someone who's sick in the hospital, I want you to consider Troopster as your way to send a care package to someone that you love and care about.
Now, see, that's a whole new direction too, isn't it? But that's great, though. That's amazing. Well, Chelsea, you're, without, I don't want to be too superfluous here, but I love your story. I love what you're doing. I think it's really impressive that you're, you without a doubt, you have a strong business mind, which I love. You, I think it's pretty damn ballsy that you sort of jumped into this whole photojournalist kind of thing, and you served for 7 years, and I'm sure took some crazy pictures, which I will absolutely Google and check out later. But on top of that, you're just at the cusp. You're at the start of all this. So thanks for being on today. It's been my pleasure, and I obviously I appreciate your service and all that you've done, but also I appreciate what you're doing going forward. So thanks for being on, Chelsea. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, same here. I really appreciate your time, Mark. And I look forward to talking and working with you further. Cool.
And stay tuned for this episode. You'll love it when you see it, but everyone else will really be appreciative of it too. I think it's great. And best of luck with Troopster going forward, and have an awesome rest of the day and your week.
No, thank you. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks so much for joining us today on this episode of Make Your Mark podcast. The goal of the podcast is to help you find ways to make your mark, to succeed in life, and to jump past your competition. Be sure to leave me a review on iTunes and Stitcher, and subscribe to be the first to hear new episodes. If you're looking for ways to make your mark, send me an email, mark@markmoyer.com, and I'll get back to you right away. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.